Okay, so we're starting.
Yeah,
Is this the thing?
this
Is what, episode 20? What are we up to?
We are up to episode 2. Got them mixed up there, but yeah, 2.
Good, okay. All right, it's been fun so far. I'm enjoying this way more than I thought. Even if we're the only ones that
Are you
listen to it.
serious or not?
Yeah, I'm kind of getting into it, which I didn't really want to because I'm like, the last thing I need is another project in my life.
True.
But not to be too stuck on myself, narcissistic. But I was listening to the mix you did, and it's not terrible. I don't know. I'm really hoping we get some people that listen to this and give us some feedback, because that's when I think it would become really fun, when it becomes more of a dialogue to two people other than just you and me, that we just we complain to each other all the time anyway.
Absolutely. I agree.
So there you go. We just agree on everything. All right, where are we starting? What's the first on the docket? Is this like a parchment like you've done with?
It is. It's in fact. It's like in Spaceship Earth. You know how he's on papyrus.
I see what you did there.
Ding, 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 ding.
I see what you did there. One of my favorite rides ever. Can we have an episode just on that ride?
Absolutely. I have no problem with that.
By the way,
yeah.
First tangent. Mm-hmm. We need tangent music, by the way, like a little harp playing or something that we can cue in. So the other day you were telling me about a Lego Spaceship Earth thing, and then after we chatted about it, I said, he's just messing with me. You were just messing with me, weren't you?
Yeah, 100%.
Damn it. I knew it at the... God bless. You got me all excited about it. I thought it was a real thing.
I know.
All right, don't listen to Glenn.
That would be nice. Right. Yeah, don't.
Anyway, what's... Great. So what's up? What are we talking about? Anything happen this week?
I don't know. I don't know. So did you happen to go out to Disney this weekend, or for any reason? Or
had you listened to the last podcast, you would know that yes, that was my plan.
Oh, that's right. Was it for any particular reason besides your birthday?
I was going to say my birthday. All right. So to remind everybody, yes. So the I got some young kids at home, and our oldest hadn't, we don't generally keep him out that late, so he'd never actually seen the Main Street Electrical Parade or even the fireworks from anywhere from, except from our house. So we decided that since it was going to be going away soon, the Main Street Electrical Parade, that, let's take him out. We'll keep the kids up late. We'll take them out there. We'll see an amazing thing, and it'll just be, just the perfect Disney experience that we will talk about and remember forever.
Right. And don't you mean glowing away, by the way?
I'm not.
You're not going to do that?
No.
Okay.
Is that something you made up, or are they using that? For,
No, they used that in, I think, 99 when it left. It was glowing away.
Oh my gosh! And you remember this?
Yeah. Well, my memory could be off, but. Yeah, I think it. I don't know.
Okay,
I have to go back and research that.
Yeah, so that was the plan, and it all started off so well. I live fairly close to the parks, but it's still frustrating because I still have to go like a half an hour out of my way to go around to get through the toll booth and then into the parking and all that. But there's a new, what's kind of new? There's a new intersection off of. I guess it's Reams Road, 535, over that way. I guess technically Reams Road. And it's mainly a cast member entrance, but I think it's kind of been known that they're kind of making another sort of tertiary guest entrance. Like, you can route your way around. And so I said, well, I'll give that a try. And I scored a new record on my Make It to Disney in Time arcade game. And so, 13 minutes door to parking lot. And I was quite pleased with myself.
That's amazing. I don't know.
It really is.
I don't know that you could be staying at a hotel on property and get there that quickly.
That's really true, right?
Yeah.
Certainly couldn't catch a bus at that. So, I was happy about it because it's like, if you drew a straight line from my house to the castle, it's 1.9 miles. So, I'm very, very close to the park itself, but it still takes forever to get in with the multiple layers of decontamination you have to go through to get into the park.
Yeah.
Is it TTC and the monorail and et cetera. So,
is that called a humble brag, by the way?
A little bit.
Okay.
Yes. No, but I have to explain it to the folks. So, short of digging a tunnel, which is generally not a good idea in Florida, or setting up a new skyway. It's actually not a bad idea. It takes a while. So anyway, I'm happy I found this little back thing. Still kind of winds away. I don't think they're quite done with what they plan, because I thought it would be like the entrance comes in and would go straight to Floridian Way, which is what goes right by the Grand Floridian and down that way. So it doesn't cut through directly. You still have to kind of wind through cast member area a little bit, but they're still public roads. But anyway, you kind of wind yourself around, and then boop, you're on you get in the parking lot, and away you go. So that was cool. So it started off good. You know me, folks out there don't. I'm not one for crowds, which makes theme parks challenging. I have a very logarithmic inverse correlation between crowds and my enjoyment. So as the crowds go up, I start to hate it more and more. But so I always take a look at how many cars are there. I used a site called Touring Plans prior to going, as we talked about going this week, to see what the level was supposed to be like, and it said it should be moderate. I'm like, okay, but after we got there, not so much, and it was super crowded. But in a way that I don't think the overall park was amazingly crowded, but it was clear that everybody had gone for the same thing. So finding a place to go see the parade and then try and see the fireworks afterward was just nightmares, probably stretching it a bit, but man, was it was challenging. So
what time did you get there?
That's good. So let's see, probably about 4:00. I guess we walked in. We made it kind of later because again, kids, and we didn't know how late it would be till we got back. I didn't want to burn them out on anything. So we planned to get there late in the afternoon. I had done some fast passes and try to make that work to my advantage.
Cool.
So did some fast passes and worked all right. It's a little stressful, and I know it's a whole different rant, but it's a little bit stressful having these times for the fast passes and times for dinner and times for parades and times for fireworks. So it was it started to wear a little thin as I'm like trying to navigate and hit all these times that, okay, this time for here, that time for that, then we got to have dinner, then we got to find a place for the parade, then blah, 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 right?
So you were a true Disney tourist for a day.
I guess. I mean, is this what people do today?
This is exactly what people do.
See, back in my day, we just showed up, right. And then, we waited in lines like God intended.
Right.
I don't know. You go way more as a visitor than I do. So
I do. And everything we plan, say whatever it is, 90 days out, whatever it is, 60 days out. Whenever we can start making our FastPass reservations, I'm on it that minute after midnight. And you're planning things for all the days that you're there down to hour blocks, basically, because you're saying I want to ride, Peter Pan's Flight at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then Space Mountain at noon. So you have to plan all of that, and then you have to think about, when are we going to eat as well? You have to make your, if you're going to do table dining, you have to make reservations for that. Depending on where your fast passes are, if you don't want to do table dining, then quick service. Well, where is there a restaurant nearby? Where are you going to eat? So yeah, that's all it is now. Is just planning, and it's it's a killer. But if you want to avoid any crowds and just be able to go on, especially the popular attractions, it's the only way to do it. Unless you really want to spend 1 to 2 hours just standing there in line. So it's that's pretty much the life of a Disney visitor now.
Yeah, and see, and we kind of did things upside down. We didn't have kids till way later, so we spent most of our Disney time with it just being my wife and I, which made it very easy. And quite frankly, if it were just she and I, we probably would have said, what, let's can this and come back some other time because you have that freedom. But once you've promised a 5-year-old a light up parade and fireworks, you cannot you can't really renege on that promise. So
no, that's true. And let's just depending on when people are listening to this. This was Labor Day weekend too, right?
Yeah, which normally isn't bad. I mean, Labor Day weekend itself isn't bad, just from my prior experience. Usually, it's not empty by any means, but it's not like Christmas or Easter week, right?
Right.
So,
go ahead. I was just gonna say, and we had been reading so much about how the crowds at Disney were so light, especially for like 4th of July and everything else. Touring plans, they've been under the whole summer because they've predicted based on history and everything else. But as it's been well documented, there simply has just simply been a lack of visitors this summer for whatever reason. Economies in Brazil and Europe, to the ticket prices. They're trying to figure out what it is that's keeping people away. But even though they're hitting their revenue targets, but so you would go into logically, go into a Labor Day weekend thinking, oh, it probably won't be too crowded.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, it may have been that the overall park wasn't, but Touring Plans is great in that they go back and kind of review their performance and kind of update. We said it was going to be a 5, but it was a 7 or 8 or whatever it was. Mm-hmm. But again, I think it was this phenomenon that I've seen more and more at Disney, or I've just been more sensitive to it, where it's this pack mentality, where it's whatever. And maybe I just remember it wrong. It seems like longer ago, it was just the park was generally crowded. There were always rides that had longer wait times. I mean, you knew Space Mountain was going to be a 90-minute wait. Carousel Progress wasn't. It was kind of had an even distribution. But it just seems like in the last 10, 15 years, there's more of this. Whatever the new thing is, or whatever the media event is, like the parade going away, that there's such a swarm of people that go to that thing that it makes it feel like the park is even more crowded than it is. Is that? Have you sensed that? Is it just me and my warped sense of reality, or is that a thing?
I don't know. I'm not. It's been what? How long? 9 years since I lived there. I view it so much as a tourist that when we go, I take it that the crowds that are there are the crowds that I have to live with. And I don't have anything to really compare it to, like I did when I was a local. Yeah. So, because you're right, if I was a local and we'd head over to the parks and it was just too crowded, we'd leave and come back another time or whatever. I mean, we had that luxury, but as a tourist, I paid good money to be there, so. Whether the crowds are light or heavy,
we're having fun. Damn it!
Exactly. Unless I want to go during, late September or so. If there is a low season anymore, that's probably it. And take my kids out of school. Well, then I don't want to do that. I really can't do that because they're getting too old to miss school.
Right.
So I have to live with summer or whatever other time I go, and the crowds are what they are, and so I have to, as a tourist, I have to combat that. And how do I do that? By planning out my days with fast passes and reservations and everything else as best as I can, and getting there when the park opens and all the crazy things that you really don't want to do on a relaxing weekend vacation. But if you want to do everything and see everything, you kind of got to be the crazy tourist guy.
Yeah, and I find parades and fireworks viewing to be the most stressful thing. I mean, because even though general crowds are kind of a pain, and and Tomorrowland always seems to be the worst for me. And I don't know if that's just me, but it just seems like that it suffers more from crowd fatigue. I'm going to give it a name, crowd fatigue, than other parts for some reason. And just parades and fireworks are a problem for me because, and I understand why they do it and why they have to do it, but cast members have to be so draconian in making sure that the walkways stay clear and keep people moving. And I get that, but it's like if you have not found a spot, then it is just a miserable forced march to who knows where, and there's so many things that it seems like now they have one-way directions you can go. You can't make a right like on Main Street from one part, which I'm like, wait, what? I can't, but I want to go that way. Nope, this way only goes that way. So it's like you get caught in this riptide that just keeps you moving, and I find that so frustrating because there's no You know, you're just making me move around, and I can't. The thing's going on. I'm missing the show, and I just want to get somewhere, but there's nowhere to go when it's that crowded, and I find that so frustrating. But like I said in the opening, I look around and everybody else is having an amazing time at their Disney vacation and making their memories and just going, oh, it's so wonderful. And I'm like, what? Am I broken that I just cannot deal with this? But those overused word, those magical times when the park attendance is low and it's easy, I love being there so much. And the Magic Kingdom is, it seems like either heaven or hell for me, depending on crowd attendance. So, or park, whatever, visitor attendance. So, is it just me? How are so many? What do I need to learn to have fun when it's miserably crowded like everybody else?
Yeah, you just have to let go and relax and
That's not happening.
Exactly. No, I know, especially for a local, it's tough because seeing both sides of it, because I was that way when I was a local. I would get frustrated with the parks, with people, you know, walking and then just stopping in the middle of the street, which I still hate. But you know, and like people not knowing where they're going and everything else. But we would go every weekend, so you know, I felt like it was my park, you know.
Yeah. Right.
And
You get spoiled with that, I guess.
yeah, and so now when I go, look, I still hate crowds. I do. And like you, I rarely sit and watch a parade or the fireworks simply because the same reasons you just said. I do not like having to find a spot so early and just waste time waiting there.
Well, I was going to ask you, is that the secret? Because I can't stand doing that, but so many people do. But I'm thinking,
that's
you know,
it?
that
No.
if I did that, that would take away my main gripe, which is, you know,
It would.
not. It's like not having a home, right? You're just sort of floating around, and
Right.
I don't know where to go, and I'm getting yelled at because I can't stand here, and meanwhile
Right.
there's a show going on, and
No,
so is that the trick?
yeah,
Stick out a place 2 hours before.
If you want the secret, that's it. But go ahead and plant yourself there for 2 hours and try to entertain yourself for 2 hours.
And a 5-year-old.
And a 5-year-old, and you know, and so is that fun? Is that really worth the amount of time and effort and you know money that you're spending on the ticket to do that? I mean, it depends on how bad you want to see the parade and what kind of view you
That's
want.
not a good argument. You
Well,
want to see it? That's what you got to do.
and that's it.
come
I mean,
on.
it's
Okay, well, that leads to my next question. Is there anything? Do you think Disney should be doing it? I mean, is this okay? Is it just Chris has a problem with crowds and he's just got to get over it, or are they letting too many people in there? Is it that they logistically they could be doing something better about this? But because from in the middle of my rants while I'm at the park, making my wife the most miserable woman on the planet. You know, I'm like, they should triple the prices to the park. They should put a cap on how many people are in here. They should have to take a quiz on how much they know about Disney before they let them in. I mean, I'm coming up with the most ridiculous ideas of how they can reduce the number of people in my park because I want to have a good time. So what do you think?
Well, they're doing
Do
that.
any of those sound like plausible scenarios to you?
They are increasing the prices, and generally the people are not showing up. So
Yeah.
I think they've hit that, but Chris, you have to remember too, though, that it's one event, right? It's not like it's you know if everybody said I want to ride Space Mountain right this second, then the line for that would be 18 hours long, right? So you have this one event that's going to run. Well, okay, it runs twice, but they want to see the first parades so that they can watch the fireworks right after and then leave. So that's their plan. They don't want to wait till the 11 o'clock showing of the parade. So you have tens of thousands of people literally just lining up waiting to see this parade. And so when
and to be fair, the parade part itself wasn't so bad.
oh no,
Yeah,
it's
we
after
had,
that.
We had dinner at Columbia Harbor House and tried to find a place about. Let's see, the parade was 9, and I think it was like 8. Wait, do I have my times right? Yeah, it was about 8:30, I guess.
Okay.
If we would go find a place, and we'd found a little corner right at the bend through Liberty Square. Thanks to your good suggestion, it was a good spot. So it wasn't so hard to find that there. It was after that, just that crush of people then to go see, the fireworks, right? So,
Right.
In retrospect, I probably would have been better off just staying in Liberty Square and just dealing with whatever the view was there. But I really wanted to try and have our son see, the fireworks proper, which was probably just bad thinking on my part. Plus, he wanted ice cream, so I was like, we'll go to the
Nobody
ice cream shop.
wants ice cream during the summer on Main Street.
Well, it was somebody's birthday. Somebody in the party, it was their birthday.
true,
We figured we'd
that's true.
celebrate with that. Yeah, I mean, you know what? In retrospect, this is probably, I should have known better. And I did.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of why I get so angry about it, is I did know better. Probably should have just stayed in Frontierland, let all the people go to the main street. And actually, I don't even think I told you this part. So we went in to get ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're trying to time this. I totally forgot about whatever that projection show is thing that, and
Yeah.
what's its name?
The projection.
Okay,
show.
whatever. So I'm like, oh, that's good. But, so we're going over the ice cream. I'm figuring we have enough time to go get ice cream and have it, right before the fireworks start. Huge line at the ice cream place, and we're all in there. And I said to my wife and my boy, "You guys go outside and you watch the animation thing, whatever, the projection thing."
Mm-hmm.
Well, by the time I got the ice cream, it was right at the beginning of the fireworks show, and they had turned out all the lights, right? Like they do. Because, I'm a newbie, and I forgot all about this. So here I am with my tray of ice creams. It's 1.5 million degrees, and because, Florida.
Yep.
And so me, like an idiot, I'm out there. I'm like Griswold. I'm out there looking for my family in the dark. I have no idea where they went. They could have gone to the right. They could have gone to the left. They could be back at the TTC. I have no idea. So I'm out there. I try to find them. I finally find them. My kid is hysterical because daddy's missing the show. Right? So, it was just like, it was like I just lost my footing and fell down a cliff right after the parade. It just went, I should have known better. I should have, you know what, as we're talking through it, and I appreciate this sort of mental health assistance. I should have known better. I knew all these things.
Yeah. Well, it's tough. It probably would have been better just to take in the parade and then head out and tackle the fireworks another night.
Or just dealt with seeing them askew, right? Seeing them
Right.
from the side or something,
You could have taken the ferry and then watched them from the ferry.
Yeah. Oh, so interesting. So, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Then I have a question.
Okay. No, that's all I was going to say.
Watch them from the ferry. That's it.
I have a feeling that you can.
You what?
that I probably shouldn't have said that. Go ahead.
No. You're right. But I realized I had a question that I need you and our many throngs of listeners, our army of listeners, to weigh in on. Mm-hmm. I swore after listening to our last podcast I wasn't going to talk so much, and that's not going so well. So I'm gonna the whole next half hour is you. But for right now, so we're finally leaving the park. The fireworks were done, and I'm like, let's get the hell out of here. Can I say that? Let's get the HE double hockey sticks out of here.
There you go.
And I'm going to ask for a refund on our annual passes, and we're never coming here again. Doing my rant as I do. And so we go out there, and the line to the monorail is, for those of you that know this setup, it is, it starts at the top of the ramp. This is the, TTC monorail. Goes down all the way down the ramp and around, and then wraps itself around 3 times or so. And then to just a mass of people at the turnstiles. I think I showed you a picture. I showed some others a picture of this, and they, by everybody's account, maybe except yours, by everybody's account that I showed it to, this was like, wow, that is like Christmas week level, crowds of trying to get to monorail.
Or a Tuesday.
Seriously?
Yes.
No, I've done this before.
Chris, but no, that's the problem. You really haven't.
I've done this before.
Oh my God, you haven't.
You're telling me that is a normal?
That is absolutely normal. Absolutely,
I'm gonna
100%.
post,
and that's
are we gonna
why
have a forum for this thing, because I want our listeners to weigh in on this, because there's
That's
no
fine.
way. I mean, I have pictures both from the front and the back of this. There's no way.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, but that's not my question. So I say, because I'm stupid, I say, all right, we're going to get on the monorail, go. And then my boy's like, yay. And then I look at the line and I go, oh my God, we're not doing that. So I said, nope, we're doing the ferry. Now my son is hysterical again because he wants to do the monorail.
Oh, but the ferry's awesome.
He normally likes the ferry, but we rode the monorail in, and now he loves the thing, right? Loves the monorail.
Well, who doesn't? Well, who doesn't? I mean, the monorail's a monorail.
I took pictures and video of him as we're going to the Contemporary.
Right.
I mean, and the thing is, I hate to be so negative because it started off so fun. and we got on the monorail, and just a brief aside here. So we got on the monorail, and we start heading towards the Contemporary, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna go through that hotel, and he's like, we are? And I'm like, yeah, because he didn't remember the last time we did it. And, it goes through, and just the beaming on his face of like, wow, this is so cool. And it was just, if I know you know this, but if anybody's a Disney fan but doesn't have kids yet, it is a whole different times 10 experience to experience all this stuff with children, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, he's upset. He wants to go back on the monorail. And I'm like, no way in HE double hockey sticks. We're not doing that. So we are going to the ferry. And I kind of groundhog my head up to see what the line to that looks like. And it looks like it's as long as the one to the monorail. So I'm thinking to myself, what do I do? And right at this moment, I hear a cast member talking in his megaphone. For some reason, he's talking to a guest right next to him, but he's talking through his megaphone. But regardless. So he's explaining to the guest that, well, you can take the ferry or the monorail. The monorail would be a lot faster. And I'm like looking at this line going, no way. But I decided to take the advice of said cast member. Mm-hmm. And actually, the line went surprisingly fast. I don't know if they run...
They do. They run
more
all.
Monorails?
Yeah, they put them all on the tracks, on the beams for, in the evening, and they run them all. And the resort, well, I know at sometimes they will run the resort monorail as a second express monorail, but I don't know when that is, because I've experienced that, but if you're at a resort and you want to go to a resort, that would kind of defeat the purpose.
Right.
So yeah, but I mean, you figure they probably cycle them. One leaves, and within 3 to 5 minutes, another one is there, because they're just,
I will say they did, to their credit, they did whip that line through pretty fast. I thought for sure. I thought for sure it was going to be an hour to get on a monorail, and I'd say it probably took 15, 20 minutes tops.
Right. And so the ferry can carry, 4 monorails worth of people, but they
Is
only...
that kind of the ratio? Are you just making that up? Or
I'm just making that up. But it's probably not far from that, 3 or 4 monorails worth. But they don't dock as often as a monorail comes. So depending on if you can catch the ferry right as it docks, or I mean, right before it's about to leave, if you can walk on it and they close the gates behind you, you will get back to the TTC quicker than the monorail. But that's such a
but it doesn't
tough thing to do. Yeah, so generally that's correct. The monorail will be quicker than the ferry.
Yeah,
that's a correct statement.
So it seemed like it was. So kudos to them. That was much easier and faster. I thought it was.
It's almost like they do it every day. It's weird.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to put these pictures up. You're full of it.
Go ahead. And our throngs of listeners can send in their pictures, and from February 22nd, and it's going to look
March
exactly
4th.
the same. Yeah, exactly.
Whenever that 2 days of down season.
Right, and it's going to look exactly the same.
Well, I don't know. I don't believe. But you always come like peak season now. Like, you're not a good judge anymore. Like you said, you're a tourist guy, so you're coming when school's out. You're not
really. So we usually come in Mardi Gras now, and while it sometime aligns with President's Day, it usually the crowds are usually lighter than normal when we come now. That being said, if we are going to the parade and going to watch the fireworks, we will make the commitment to stay until either the second parade starts running or we close down the park. We stay all until they close down, because I've given up on those crowds that you're describing, because I've gone through them enough that I've wised up, and I just know what it's like, and I do not want to be a part of it. So we'll go back to the hotel during the day, rest up, and then head out and stay all night.
Yeah, and your kids are a little older. I mean,
Yeah, they are.
A big
They
part
are
of
now.
this pressure was 10:30 at that point, and my kids normally going to bed at 8. So
Sure.
it was, and we have a little baby with us as well, so it was a little pressure to get.
Yeah.
So I think I just kind of forced the situation, which is,
Yeah.
maybe I'll learn from it.
Right,
and
it just
I'll make
adds
the
to
same
it.
mistake, again in a few years. But all right, I was gonna start off ranting on Disney, but now I think about it, we've talked through it. I think this was, I think I did this to myself.
Wow.
like mostly, I should have known better. This was a rookie mistake.
Wow. Okay. All that being said, how did you enjoy? No. That's not the question.
Oh, here we go.
How did your son enjoy the parade? What did he think about it?
So here's what's interesting is
Don't even. Okay, we're gonna skip to the next.
no. I'm
Go ahead.
giving out because I'm not going to say what you think I'm going to say.
Okay.
During the parade, he thought it was great. It was the best thing. He was here was another rookie mistake or an unintended consequence. So, my son's 5 and he's a tiny 5. So he's we're not the first ones in the front. We got a row or two of people in front of us. So, I'm Dad. I'm like, well, I'm going to put him on my shoulders too, so we can see, right?
Sure.
The thing I didn't account for is that at that bend, you see the parade coming from quite a distance. So, and they turn down the lights and kind of start the music, however that goes,
Yeah.
quite a bit before it actually gets to that spot.
Okay.
So I had my son on my shoulders probably double the time that I really need to because, well, there's the parade. I need him to see it. So I put him up there and we're waiting and we're waiting and we're waiting and it's getting closer and closer. So by about 2/3 of the way through the parade, I'm like, is it over yet? Please just end this parade because my knees were killing me. My feet were killing me. Anyway, Dad complains. But anyway, but during the parade, he loved it. He was literally saying hi to all the characters and trying to get them to wave to him, and he thought it was fantastic. Now the only reason I started to say what I said was that after the fact I asked him, so did you have fun at the Magic Kingdom the other night? And I've asked him 3 times, and I have yet to get a good answer. So I'm afraid that Dad's bad mood at the end kind of ruined it. Because the other problem for anybody that has a 5-year-old or has had a 5-year-old, they have an inability to walk a straight line between point A and point B. So, which tends to frustrate me quite a bit. So I'm like, let's go. We've got fast passes. We got dinner we got to get. And it was fine until like the very end. I was just so frustrated that, and like a good parent, I take my frustrations out on my children. So
well, yeah, of course.
can't take it out on my wife. She'll fight back. So
Right.
take it out on the kids. But no, it was a mixture. I mean, I don't want to get it wrong. I wasn't a complete lunatic.
No,
but,
I know.
I
But
don't know.
when
I
you're
don't know if it was-
frustrated, your kids do. They.
But I
pick
will
up on
say, right, and I will say what he said to me was, it was fine, but you didn't get to see the fireworks. So, which broke my heart because I'm like, oh, what he cares about is that his dad didn't get to see the fireworks. I'm like, well, I saw him. I took you to go see him,
Yeah.
But what he cared about was that I didn't get to see him. So it's a bittersweet kind of thing in its own way, but it's my boy caring about me. But I think he liked it. Judging on how he was during the parade, he liked the parade. And
Good.
you and I joke a lot that I hate that parade with a passion. But it's not the parade I hate. I love light up things. I'm a human being, and my little caveman brain just goes crazy when it sees light up things. And,
Sure.
But the music, oh, Glenn, the music.
All right, so I will make a note about the music. So the music, I know you really despise the original music, with the original instruments and everything else, but the music that they play now is not the original music. It's been redone. And it was redone when the parade was in California. So the whole time it's been here, for this run, it's had this music with it. It's not the same, and I actually don't like it. I don't like the music now. I know, but I don't like it now because it's not
too sane. And,
it is. It's not as
enough.
intense as the original music, and it's kind of toned down ish, and I don't like that. And so now when I see it, it's like it's missing something for me.
You're gonna have to cut in some comparisons into this because I really don't. It sounds the same to me, but again,
I don't know that I
don't listen to
have
it.
examples of the new.
Well,
I
sure,
really don't know. I'll have to look and see.
maybe from the live stream they just did or something.
I'll look and see. I'll see what I can find.
All right. So visually, I like it.
Yeah.
And I don't have. I know you have emotional connection to it. I don't have
Oh
that.
my
When
God,
I
don't.
well, I don't think I do. What parade would there have been in?
So, I'll tell you right
in,
now,
like,
from
the
1977
80s.
until 1992, no, 1991, it was the Main Street Electrical Parade, period.
Okay.
Except for,
Yeah.
well, no, because that was before 77. America on Parade
Right.
ran before that, so for 75 and 76. So, nighttime parades, 77 through 91 was Main Street Electrical Parade. That's it.
Okay. Because my first trip was in '83, I think, but I don't remember seeing a parade too much. Of that I'm sure we did, but I don't remember.
Well, they also didn't run the parade every night. It was only during summer and holiday.
it was summer, but.
So, okay.
But anyway, but the majority of the
help you
time
then.
that we went, and sort of my more emotional attachment would be in the mid to late '90s when my wife and I went
Yeah.
before we were engaged, and we got engaged there. And so
Yeah.
my heart goes out to Spectrum Magic.
Sure.
That'll always be kind of my
Yeah.
nighttime parade. But
Well-
like I said, the parade itself is fine. I like some of the characters and floats of it, but
Yeah. Well, when they start running Spectrum, oh wait,
hey, could happen. You don't know.
okay, I have to do a
happen.
lot of dumpster diving, but all right.
I was totally shocked to find
I
out. You
cannot-
told me that these are the original floats. I
Yeah.
thought for sure by now they would have just rebuilt. I mean, they're just like chicken wire on some tractors. I mean, they're not that. There's nothing that fancy to them.
Yeah, right. But
And actually, one of them, I don't remember what it was. Maybe the first one with Tinkerbell on it. Is that how it starts?
it just now
Yeah.
it starts with Tinkerbell. Yes.
Oh, now it does. Man, you are quite the aficionado of this parade. But anyway, that float, there was a whole top section that just wasn't lit up. So
Oh no, really?
they better repair that right away.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's not good. Jeez.
Not good show. Oh, speaking of which, can I rant a bit more? Because
Sure.
this is there's so much to cover from my
I know.
5
That's
miserable hours. at
That's
the
why I'm
Magic
letting you go,
Kingdom.
man.
So I'm and again, I got to try and figure out: is this me? Are my standards too high? Are my expectations out of whack? So we're on this monorail. I'm starting to feel like I can breathe again. Heading out towards the parking lot, and I look over at the Contemporary, and you know how at night they have the lights on the, they're the lights on the Contemporary, right? All the little white lights that kind of go down the side.
Sure.
A third of those were out, like one big
What?
section. Like the top, like if you're looking at it from that side, like you're heading to
Yeah.
that direction, was probably the top right side was just completely out. And I'm just like,
That's not
there,
right.
there used to be a time where if you saw one light bulb out on Main Street, it would be like, oh my God, there's a
Yeah.
light bulb out.
Oh,
Right?
absolutely.
But now
Absolutely.
it's like, there's still some lights on. It's not like it's completely out.
No,
the DVC building's on, so that's fine.
Well, that's all that matters now, isn't it?
Please see episode 1.
But yeah, no, that you're right. I mean, light bulbs are like supposed to be on. Like that's like a Disney
You would think.
101, right?
Right.
Like every light needs to be lit.
Such a shame. And especially Contemporary, we covered all this time. But it's like, come on, really? Even I can see that needs to be fixed.
Do you know? I'll tell you a little secret.
No.
When I was, let's see, 11. I had just turned 11, and went to Disney World with my aunts, my two aunts, my dad's sisters, for Easter in 1982, and I actually told my aunts that what I wanted to do when I grew up was I wanted to work at Disney, and I wanted to be the guy who changed all of the light bulbs on Main Street.
Well, you know what? There's a job for you.
I'm being 100% serious. Like that's what.
Really? I thought it was cutting the grass. You always told me you wanted
So
to be the guy
later
cutting the
on,
grass.
yeah. So I realized, well, that's not really shooting for the stars, now, is it? So So then I wanted to be CEO of Disney, and that didn't come true. So
you
then
got time.
I set my sights on, okay, so when I retire, my dream job is to cut the grass at
No way.
Disney.
This I get. There
When I
2/3
retire.
of this I never heard before. I never heard light bulb man and CEO, and that is quite.
Oh
strange.
God, yeah, absolutely, man. That's why I did the college program, and there I wanted to be on that track.
Actually, I sent you something while I was there. Because
you?
you did. I sent you a picture of the console of the
Yes.
carousel, and which, by the way, the
saw that.
carousel. It just again for those that don't have kids, putting a 5-year-old on a carousel, it is magic. Just they love that so much.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I'm standing in line. I see this console for the carousel, and I know you. You're fairly nerdy dude, and obviously big Disney fan, college program alumni, blah blah blah. And I'm looking at this console, and I said to myself, why didn't Glenn want to do that? Like if I were a huge Disney fan and I went to
Yeah.
college program, I'd be like, I want to run things. I
Right.
want to hit the go button and the. So tell me about that.
There's a perfect answer for that. I did not want to do that on purpose because I did not want to ruin the magic. So on the college program, I requested to be in the resorts and not in the parks because I didn't care about, if I knew how the resorts run, that's fine. But I didn't want to go to work at, let's say, the Magic Kingdom and for it to turn into work. And so I did not want to ruin that for me for the rest of my life. So I made a conscious decision to not request the parks.
Okay. Do you still stand by that, or do you wish you had made a different decision?
Oh, I stand by it. 100%. Yeah, sure.
I wonder if how much that I don't know, because that's a tough call. I mean, on the one hand, I'm such an engineer-minded guy. It'd be so cool to know how it all worked and be for the rest of your life. You can say, yeah, I ran Space Mountain.
Yeah.
And
It would
but
be.
I guess I could do that, right? I guess I could. It's fine to think that way, but then when it's your shift and you're just going to work, and it's like,
Right,
push the
and
button
you're-
for the
you're-
1000th time that night.
Right, and you're dealing with people like Chris complaining that there's too many people here. And it's like, it's the end of the night and end of my shift. And, I have this guy who's
very funny.
Complaining the whole time. It's like,
This kid is crying. What is wrong with this dude?
right. So,
Thanks for turning that around.
and by the way, I thought you were sending that to me for another reason.
I know.
And
That's why I'm
so,
clarifying.
Okay, yeah, thank you. But I enjoyed it either way.
Yeah,
So thank you
whatever.
for
That's
sending that. I
So-
did zoom in on the console, so.
yeah. I'm standing there, I'm looking because again, I'm a nerd guy, so I'm like, what's that button for? What's that button for?
Of course.
Just to myself, not to to the people that would have thought I had a problem.
Right.
But yeah, this thing is neat. But anyway, so you know what? Now that I've talked it through, I had a great time.
That's
I'd go
awesome.
Back, I'd go
That
back
is
again
awesome.
anytime. It is. I told my wife it was really nice. We are not coming back here ever.
Did she? Well, I was gonna ask you, did she enjoy it or not? But I'm gonna say
was
she
with
probably
me.
had the same.
She enjoyed
God.
herself. She was with me and another crying baby, which is our 5-month-old. So how could she possibly have had fun? But it was my
But it's the
birthday, so what
Magic
was she going to say?
Right, right.
I got to tell you, I was so mad. I even hate to admit this, but I will admit this to our throng of listeners. So on our way in, Melissa's like, you should get a birthday button, right? I've got a collection of these, whatever. And but like we're on the way in, and at that point it was good, right? On the way in, it was all right. It was all looking up. It was all
magical.
13 minutes from my driveway to my parking space. So
Right.
it was-
What could
it
be
was all-
better than that?
it was all- well, the sad part, it was kind of downhill from there, but it looked like it was going to go uphill. So I'm like, all right. So I stopped by, and I had another reason to it. I stopped by the guest services, and I asked for my button, and I got my button, and I put it on my I had a camera bag, so I put it on the strap for that. And we had our fun, and then on the way out, it was the Jekyll Chris or Hyde Chris. I don't remember which one is the angry one. And we're at this monorail line, and my kid's crying because he wanted to go on the monorail, and I said we weren't, even though I changed it and said we would. He didn't hear me, and in the middle of this, the birthday button that I had broke. So like the pin stayed on the strap, right? But the button itself popped off. And I'm looking at this thing and I'm mad. And Glenn, I tell you, I literally took it and I threw it on the ground. I'm not sure, but I might have stepped on it and I might have
You're not
urinated
sure.
on it. I'm not sure, but I certainly know I threw it on the ground. And my poor wife, she's like, don't do that. I'm like, forget it, leave it. We're done with this place. Let's go. She picked it up and ferried it off somewhere. I have no idea where it ended up, but that poor birthday button got the brunt of my frustration and anger.
I thought you were going to say that one of the cast members said, "Oh, happy birthday, Chris!"
Oh no! But it's funny
and
you
then
say
you
that.
decked him or something.
It's so funny you say that because we are so sort of 2/3. Remember, this is sort of my descent into madness, right? So imagine like it starts off great, and then the nadir of my trip was the getting in the line of the monorail, right? So that was my descent, sort of like into the heart of darkness. And so one time we had gone to the Magic Kingdom, and we were with, I think it was my mother-in-law. It was her birthday. She had a birthday button. And we went to the ice cream shop, and the cast member saw it was her birthday and got everybody in the ice cream shop to sing happy birthday.
Oh,
It was very sweet, right? Yeah. That's not my bag, especially not when I'm 2/3 of the way through my heart of darkness. There is. So I don't remember what I did, or if it was just I covered it up with my complete anger. But I'm like, if anybody tries anything, if anybody tries to be cute and make this magical, I'm going to rip their head off. And thankfully for everybody in the ice cream shop, that did not happen. So
yeah. You know why?
Because it was my lick of misery.
No, because it was 10 minutes before the parade, and I'm sure it was crushed in there. And
It was the last time too. But yeah,
wait, what?
it was that time that I mentioned. Well, it would have been in March. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. There's no way they were going to do that.
Right. Like if you go in the middle of the day and it's off hours or something, nobody's in there, then they're sweet as pie and they'll do all that.
Yeah, I know, but that's not as dramatic a story. So
Yeah, true. Sorry.
anyway, my poor birthday button. Threw it on the ground, stomped on it, urinated on it, set it on fire.
Aw.
Yeah, like Jimi Hendrix. Got my lighter fluid.
Right. Take that.
Anyway, that's
That'll teach you.
I think this has been more fun in the retelling than the actual doing.
Well, good. Good. So
How
you
was
going
your
back
week?
out this weekend?
Well, I said something because I've started now that I'm almost a week beyond it. I'm like and now the parade's going
You
away. and
only
I
remember
feel,
the good parts.
well, it's not just that, but I feel like I've messed it up now. So I need all right, take two. Let's try this again. I made some offhanded comment to my wife today. She's like, "We are never going back there."
Oh,
I know. I ruined everybody's fun. That's me. It's my magic.
that's your special.
What else we
talent.
got? All right. I feel much better now. I feel like my voice is getting higher.
Okay, Glenn.
I'm feeling good. What else we got? You talk for a while. How was
No,
your week?
that's pretty much it.
Really?
We're only 51 minutes into this.
Okay. How long are they supposed to be? I don't even know.
I don't know. I think the last one was about 45 minutes or so.
Okay. All right.
Somewhere
What
in
do the
there.
people want? What have the people said?
I don't know. I haven't heard from the throngs of person that listens to
The Tron Army?
the Tron army that's listening to this.
Or we should call it Trone. We don't want to get sued. Tron. Sherry Bobbins.
Sherry Bobbins. That's exactly what we should call it.
That would be funny. You know what? Episode title, Sherry Bobbins.
Sherry Bobbins.
I like it. All right, let's read a
So
sponsor read.
that's pretty much it for
All right.
for the Disney.
Let's do a sponsor read. What's cool this week?
Sure. This episode is brought to you by Columbia Harbor House.
You know what? That would be funny. We should do like fake ads for places.
We
That'd be
should.
awesome.
We should. Columbia Harbor House, where you can, get wonderful fresh seafood and
Fresh.
and watch people go from Fantasyland to Liberty Square and vice versa.
Yeah, man, you turned me onto that place. That place is like both perfect and horrible at the same time.
Oh,
Well, no, again, it's crowds, but
Yeah.
when it's crowded, it's so hard to navigate
Well,
in there. And
but that's-
Oh.
what's so awesome about the second floor. Not everybody knows about that.
Yeah, okay. You
Okay,
get to
go
the
ahead,
second
go ahead.
floor with your, your stroller and your kids and your bad knee. You do that.
Before you say anything else, I'm gonna give a plug seriously to a website, Passport to Dreams, old and new. This is the greatest Disney website on the planet. Foxfur is the author of the blog, and the last blog is about Columbia Harbor House, and they went and took video of Columbia Harbor House, just like atmospheric video of it.
Wow.
It's the greatest thing.
What's the website?
So the website is Passport to Dreams, old and new. I'll put the actual link in the show notes. But it is, if you only read one Disney blog, that is the Disney blog to read. It's not updated, on a regular basis, but when it is usually a fascinating article that's in depth and long, but it's fascinating. So
mostly I read Starport 75, but this looks good too.
that's a very good. That's probably number 2, but this one is out of this world.
Holy cow, this is pretty thorough.
Yes.
They're not just slapping this together like we're doing.
Not at all. Not at all. There's a lot of research that goes in.
Wow. Wow, it's been around a long time.
I've been a fan for a long time. Yes.
Yeah, 2006, 10 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
At least that's how far back the blog goes. Wow. How have you never shared this with me?
I've shared it. I cannot tell you how
Lies.
many times I've shared it, but like with everything, my name's not Andy Anako, so you don't always listen to me. So that's why I'm saying it here in public, so everybody can hear and share and go to the website and take a look.
And it's just a fan thing. I mean, it doesn't seem very commercial or anything, right?
Yeah, no, it is.
Very nice. Very
Yep.
cool. Yeah, good. I feel like I should have a tip now. I got nothing. Here's my tip. Don't go to the fireworks. That's all I
So,
got. Wow, it's cool. I like this.
all right,
Okay. Is that it for this week?
that's
It's
it for
mostly
this
me
week.
talking again. It's got to be
But that's
you next
okay.
time.
We'll change it up.
Got to be you.
That's fine.
You have all the knowledge. All I have is emotion and,
I don't know about that.
I have emotion. Oh, look at that. The original Living Seas. This looks like a nice site.
It's a great site.
I assume this design, this pattern they have is some sort of a nod to something.
I'm actually on my RSS feed, but
Okay.
sure. It
looks like
is. It
looks
is.
like it should
I
be if
just
it's not.
I don't know. It changes up. I don't think it's always this. So and I hate to say this, but I also don't know if it's if Foxfur is a male or female. So I can't say he.
Well, you really
or
like
she.
her site.
His or her site. So whoever's doing it is doing a fantastic job.
Very nice. Have you ever had any contact with the Foxfur?
Just on Twitter a couple times, just remarking on because they post a lot on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
So good things there as well. So. Anyways, it's a bit of a mystery, and I think they like it that way.
Okay. Not like us. We're like,
Yeah,
hey, look at us.
right.
Wait, these ones actually have names? I didn't know
Exact. Thank you. You see,
that. Oh my god! Wow!
right.
How awesome! Is there an elevator?
There is for the backseat for for the workers
Well,
for
that
because there were
doesn't
two
that doesn't help me.
kitchens and stuff. And
I will say though, a little PSA to anybody that might hear this: if you and your wife have scooters, and your scooters are the size of RVs,
oh, we're gonna have to cut this out.
do not go drive them through Columbia Harbor House, please.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Yeah. In fact, they shouldn't even really.
No, we were there, and that's fine. I mean, you know me, I've got a minor mobility impairment.
Yes.
So I mean, I'm sensitive to it. I get it, but it's just and these were the largest scooters I've ever seen, Glenn. They were like Escalades. I've never seen anything like this. I think they were literally towing boats behind them, and they're driving them. Thankfully, they weren't side by side, or they would have taken out.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, but thanks for telling me.
I mean, come on, have some, and I don't know, of course, but it didn't look like they. Whatever. I don't want to be insensitive, but it was not practical. But anyway, it's just a request for the peeps out there.
Yeah, and that's a valid request.
With their Esca scooters.
Yeah. No kidding.
I never saw this site. You never shared this. It's nice.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I didn't. You're right.
I heard about it on a podcast, though, recently.
Did you?
Yeah.
That must be an awesome podcast.
It is. Terrific recordings of absolutely nothing.
Really?
Yeah. Troan.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Terrific Recordings of Nothing. Follow Chris on Twitter and Instagram at CBGray, and Glenn on Twitter and Instagram at DizWiz. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Tron_FM, and on Facebook at Terrific Recordings of Nothing. For all things related to the show, including show notes and links to connect with us, visit us at Tron.fm.